Welcome to the dashboard for the Planning for Profit software platform. This is your starting point. This is where you will come to every time you log into the software. Now, I want to take just a couple of moments and give you a tour and show you what's on this page and how it all works. To start out with, you can see the menu items for your navigation down the left-hand side. If you used our old software, this looks really familiar, right? So you've got setup, where you're actually going to create the company, you're actually going to modify departments, things like that. We've got cost input where you actually enter all of your data. Reports gives you just that, all of the reports. Jobs actually has in it the job pricing calculator and job tracking report. Calculators gives you tools to basically find out, maybe I need to tweak some numbers, I could change things, how many maintenance agreements should I have for a company my size, that type of thing. And then tracking reports gets into actually tracking billable hours. Now, one of the nice parts about this version of the software is you can kind of control what you see on the screen regarding this menu. For example, if the resolution of your screen is such that the stuff over here is a little bit too crowded, you can actually shrink that menu down and minimize it. You can do that by simply clicking on the little circle, that little target icon right there in the corner. And when you do that, you'll notice the screen will actually get a little bit larger and the menu will collapse down the side. As you hover over any one of those items, the menu will automatically come back and let you make the selection. When I actually choose a particular item, again, when I go to the new report, as soon as I come off the menu, it will automatically resize itself. If you decide you don't like that, simply hover back over it, click on that little icon right there in the upper right-hand corner of the menu again. The screen will once again reconfigure itself, and the menu will now be displayed all the time. Now, some of the other items on the screen will first walk across the top itself. Right here, you'll always notice the name of your company is going to be listed. What company are you currently working on? Remember, in the software, you can actually have multiple companies in here in tracking multiple companies. This is going to show you what company you're looking at. The second line will always tell you what model you're looking at. Remember, you can have as many different copies of your company, what-if scenarios, if you will, right? In the companies, you can have as many of those as you would like. This simply gives you the name of what that is and what model year you're looking at. So right now, we're looking at the standard business model for 2020 for Mr. Magoo's Heating and Cooling. As I continue to come across the top, you'll see on this side, you've got the select company and model icon. Once you have your company set up and you've got multiple models in there, I can now click on that and it will show me every model that you have in your particular software. I can see in my particular copy here, I've got for Mr. Magoo's, I've got the standard business model. I've been using it several years, so I've got several years worth of data in there. Right, I've got another one called the job calculator model. I've got another company in here called Ben's Comfort Air. I've got Happy Hazelberg Heating, right? So there's various different models that are in there. As I click on a different model, you will see the screen update. It will now change, and right now I can see that I'm looking at this job calculator for 2021 model. All right, I'll come back and again, I can move back and forth on those anytime I want. So simply click on that. Goes right back to the other model, in this case, the standard business model for 2020. A little bit farther down from there, you can see right here in the upper right-hand corner, you've got your name as you're logged in. And so in that, or on that icon, you can click on that, and there's a couple of different things that you can do. Number one, under settings, it's going to bring you to your settings screen. So first off, it's going to show you how you're currently logged in, right? What your setup of your company is. So in this particular case, I can see that how your name is showing up. That's exactly how it's showing up here. If you'd like to change that, that's where you can change it. It's also going to show you, in my case, I don't have a last name there. It's actually in there incorrect, right? I can put the last name over on the other side. There we go, right? It's also then showing you the email address that you're logged in at. Now, the email address is the key component. That's the key record that ties this account to you. And so the email address cannot be changed once it's been in there and created. So that is the email address that is registered on this account and how you're logged in. From there, some of the other, and again, any of these changes, I would simply click on Save Changes. The software will record that, confirm it, and then we're good to go. Next item is Change Password. So I can come in here, and if you want to change the password that you've got set up on your account, simply enter in your old password, go ahead and enter in the new password, and then confirm it, and click on Save Changes. If for whatever reason you've forgotten your password, back out on the login screen where you logged into the software, there's an icon out there that you forgot password. It'll send you an email to let you change or create a new password, if you will. But this is where I would change it if I knew the existing password. Next item there is subscription. Under subscription, now you will only the subscribers, so the main point person who's got the subscription under their account will have this option available to them. And so again, it's showing you it's a monthly subscription. The start date when we got into it. On the other side, I can see the dollar amount, what it is, and the end date. So the end date is the end of the current month because it is a monthly subscription. And again, there's no long term on that one. So that is the settings area. I can report an issue. If you're having an issue with the software, simply by clicking on Report an Issue, this will bring you to a web page where you can actually enter in an issue, and when you put it in and submit it, it triggers the people on our team about your issue. So again, as you're doing that, the more detail you can give us, the better off you are. It will always help us in that particular, coming up with the resolution. Subscribe now, typically that's going to be for a main subscriber. Standard users in your company won't see this one. And so again, that simply gives you the ability, if you're not already subscribed, to actually enter in credit card information and take care of that part of it. And last is log out. How do I log out of the software? So that's really the general movement around the home page itself. One last item for navigation that I'll share with you is that, again, as we look at it, right up here, you see this little expert icon? Of course, that's how you got to this video. Any page that you're on, it will play the video for that particular page. Now, last item I want to do is just share with you a little bit about what's in the rest of this screen on the dashboard itself. So once you get in to have your company set up and you've got your departments set up, those departments will show up right here. So in this particular case, I've got 3 departments: a service department, a new construction, and an add-on or replacement department. It will always show you your break-even rate for that department based on the expenses that you have entered in. It's going to show you your current rate. What are you charging today in that department? And then what's your net profit based on, again, everything that you've got entered in. The series of dials that you've got over on the right-hand side of the screen, the first one is looking at your hours. As you create your model, you're actually creating a budget for billable hours. And so as I create that budget, it's done in the background, you'll be able to go into the software under the tracking reports and enter in how many hours did you actually bill out this year. That will always give you, at a glance, how am I doing compared to where I thought I was going to be at this point in the year. The next dial over is for jobs. I can now do the same thing on jobs itself. So under the jobs icon, there's a job hours tracking report. So when you get those larger jobs, it's sometimes a little bit harder to keep track of. You can see, how am I doing on all jobs that we've got going this year? Am I behind on hours? Am I ahead on hours? Do I need to change my bidding process? That kind of thing. Next couple of dials that we've got are gross profit dials. So as I look at those, the first one is, what is the target gross profit that I need to hit to cover fixed expenses, variable expenses, and hit the target net profit that I'm looking for in this particular company. So it's going to all be summed up right there in that dial. The next dial over is the overhead gross profit, the gross profit required to cover fixed and variable overhead. If I hit that, my overhead will be covered from a cash flow perspective, and that's the big difference, right? Not an accounting perspective, but there won't be any profit left over at the end. All right, just keep those couple of items in mind. Just gives you those 2 numbers. Down a little bit farther, we've got a couple more graphs that we've added into the dashboard. The first one is materials as a percentage of sales. So what percentage of your total sales in this department, how much of that is made up by my cost of materials? Now, with these, as I go through and change the department, so I click on different departments at the top, those graphs will automatically update for that given department. So all those dials that we've seen so far, the hours, materials as a percentage of sales, are all for the given department that's listed. The next chart that's there is the only one that's not for a given department, but for the company as a whole. And this is revenue per employee. What is your total revenue for all full-time equivalent employees that you've got in your company? That number is fixed for all departments. And then the last item that we have is the actual monthly cash flow chart. So this is my cash flow projection for my company for this given department. So again, as I change individual departments, I'll flip over to my service department, and you'll see not only do the other graphs update, this one is going to update as well. The blue line is each month as a standalone. The green line will be a cumulative total for the year for that particular department. So that's the dashboard. It's how you navigate around. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call, or if you have a problem, go up under your login right there and report an issue. We'd be glad to help you out.